Imagine this. You're at a dinner party, the food is great, the company is even better. Then it happens. Your host asks you to introduce the guest of honor. Your heart starts to race. Your palms sweat. You feel a knot in your stomach. This, my friends, is the grip of public speaking anxiety. It's a fear that haunts a surprising number of us. We dread presentations, shy away from toasts, and even struggle with casual introductions. But why? Why does this seemingly simple act strike such fear into our hearts? The answer is rooted in vulnerability. When we speak in public, we open ourselves up to judgment. We worry about saying the wrong thing, looking foolish, or losing our audience's attention. This fear is so ingrained that it often surpasses even our fear of spiders, heights, or even death. The fear of public speaking isn't confined to formal events. It can strike anytime, anywhere. Imagine being in a meeting. Your boss asks for your opinion on a critical project. Suddenly, the conference room feels like a spotlight. Your mind goes blank. Or picture yourself at a networking event. You spot someone you'd love to connect with. But the thought of initiating a conversation fills you with dread. These everyday situations can be just as nerve-wracking as any stage. This fear doesn't discriminate. It affects students struggling to answer a professor's question, entrepreneurs pitching their ideas to investors, and even seasoned professionals leading team meetings. It's a universal experience that transcends professions, backgrounds, and social circles. What makes these situations even more daunting is their spontaneous nature. We rarely have the luxury of prepared remarks or carefully crafted slides. We're called upon to think on our feet, articulate our thoughts coherently, and engage our audience authentically, all while battling our inner critic. This is the essence of spontaneous speaking. It's the art of communicating effectively in the moment, without the safety net of pre-planned scripts or rehearsals. It's about navigating unexpected questions, responding to impromptu requests, and engaging in conversations that flow naturally and authentically. The good news? Spontaneous speaking is a skill. It's not an innate talent reserved for a select few. It's a muscle that can be developed and strengthened with practice and the right techniques. Instead of dreading these situations, we can learn to embrace them as opportunities. Opportunities to share our ideas, connect with others, and make a lasting impact. Overcoming the fear of spontaneous speaking is not about silencing our inner critic entirely. It's about learning to manage it, reframe our perspective, and step outside our comfort zones with confidence. Let's face it, public speaking anxiety is incredibly common. Studies show that up to 85% of people experience some level of anxiety when speaking in front of others. So if you feel those butterflies fluttering in your stomach, you're in good company. The first step to managing anxiety is acknowledging it. Instead of trying to suppress those nerves, embrace them. Those butterflies are a sign that your body is preparing you for something important. They're a surge of adrenaline, giving you the energy and focus you need to engage your audience. Think about athletes before a big game. They experience nerves too. But instead of letting those nerves paralyze them, they channel that energy into their performance. They reframe those butterflies as excitement, anticipation, and a drive to succeed.
And action.
When we perceive a threat, our bodies go into fight or flight mode. Our heart rate increases. Our breathing becomes shallow and our muscles tense up. This physiological response is designed to help us survive in dangerous situations. The problem is, our brains often struggle to distinguish between a real threat, like a charging lion, and a perceived threat, like giving a presentation. So when we step in front of an audience, our bodies react as if we're in imminent danger, even though we're perfectly safe. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about becoming aware of our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without getting swept away by them. Away. When we're anxious, our thoughts tend to race. We worry about what might go wrong, what people might think of us, or whether we'll remember what to say. This negative self-talk only amplifies our anxiety and prevents us from being fully present. The key to managing anxiety is to shift our focus from these negative thoughts to something more positive and productive. Instead of dwelling on what might go wrong, concentrate on your message, your audience, and your purpose for speaking. One effective technique is to focus on your breath. Take slow, deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. This simple act can help calm your nerves, slow your heart rate, and bring you back to the present moment. Another way to reframe our perspective is to think of spontaneous speaking not as a performance, but as a conversation. When we view it as a performance, we set ourselves up for judgment. We feel pressure to deliver a flawless presentation, which only increases our anxiety. Instead, approach spontaneous speaking as an opportunity to connect with others, share your ideas, and engage in a meaningful exchange. This shift in mindset can be incredibly liberating. To make your speaking more conversational, incorporate questions. Ask your audience questions, even if they're rhetorical. This helps create a sense of dialogue and engagement. It also gives you a chance to pause, collect your thoughts, and connect with your listeners. One of the most effective ways to manage anxiety is to become fully present. When we're present, we're not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. We're fully engaged in the here and now. There are many ways to cultivate present moment awareness. One technique is to focus on your senses. Notice the feeling of your feet on the ground, the temperature of the air on your skin, or the sounds around you. Another powerful technique is to engage in a brief physical activity before speaking. This could be a quick walk around the block, a few stretches, or even some jumping jacks. Physical activity helps release endorphins, which have mood-boosting effects. It also helps ground you in your body and shift your focus away from anxious thoughts. Our perception of a situation significantly influences our experience of it. When we view spontaneous speaking as a threat, we naturally tense up, our minds race, and we become more susceptible to anxiety. This defensive posture limits our ability to think clearly, respond authentically, and connect with our audience. Think about it. When you feel threatened, your focus narrows. You're on high alert, scanning for danger and preparing to fight or flee. This survival mechanism, while useful in truly dangerous situations, is not conducive to effective communication. Now imagine shifting that perspective. Instead of seeing spontaneous speaking as a threat, what if we viewed it as an opportunity? An opportunity to share our unique voice, engage in meaningful conversations, and make a positive impact on those around us. Section 2, embracing the unexpected. Spontaneous speaking, by its very nature, is unpredictable. We can't control the questions we'll be asked, the topics that will arise, or the reactions we'll receive. But this unpredictability, rather than being a source of anxiety, can be a source of excitement and creativity. Think of improv comedy. Improv actors thrive on the unexpected. They embrace the unknown, building upon each other's ideas, and creating something entirely new and spontaneous in the moment. There's a sense of freedom and playfulness in their interactions, a willingness to experiment and see where the moment takes them. This same spirit of playfulness and openness can transform our approach to spontaneous speaking. When we let go of the need to control every aspect of the interaction, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, unexpected connections, and a more authentic and engaging experience. Section 3, the power of perspective. Our perspective acts as a lens through which we interpret the world around us. If we approach spontaneous speaking with a lens of fear and apprehension, we're more likely to see threats, obstacles, and potential for failure. However, if we shift our perspective and view these situations as opportunities for growth, connection, and meaningful exchange, we begin to see the world differently. We become more attuned to the possibilities that exist in each interaction. And we're more likely to approach these situations with confidence and enthusiasm. This shift in perspective doesn't mean ignoring the challenges inherent in spontaneous speaking. It simply means choosing to focus on the potential rewards rather than dwelling on the potential risks. It's about reframing our inner dialogue from one of self-doubt to one of self-belief. Section 4, a playful experiment. The gift exchange. To illustrate the power of perspective, let's try a little experiment called the gift exchange. This exercise is designed to help us practice reframing our thinking and embracing the unexpected in a fun and engaging way. Here's how it works. Find a partner and decide who will be person A and person B. Person A will pretend to present person B with an imaginary gift. The catch is, person A doesn't know what the gift is until person B opens it and describes what they see. For example, person B might open the imaginary box and say, "Wow, a set of antique maps. This is incredible." Person A then has to respond in a way that acknowledges the gift and explains why they chose it, even though they had no prior knowledge of what it would be. Section 5, unwrapping the opportunity. The beauty of this exercise lies in its unpredictability. Person A is forced to think on their feet, accepting whatever gift person B presents, and crafting a response that feels genuine and heartfelt. This requires letting go of the need to control the situation and embracing the opportunity to create something new and spontaneous in the moment. The gift exchange highlights a crucial aspect of spontaneous speaking, the power of co-creation. Every interaction is a two-way street. We're not simply delivering a message. We're engaging in a dynamic exchange of ideas, perspectives, and emotions. When we approach these interactions with a spirit of collaboration, we open ourselves up to a richer and more rewarding experience. We become more attuned to the needs and perspectives of others, and we're more likely to create connections that are both meaningful and memorable. Section 6. Finding freedom in the unknown. The gift exchange is just one example of how playful experimentation can help us develop our spontaneous speaking skills. By embracing the unknown, letting go of the need for perfection, and focusing on the opportunity for connection, we can transform our relationship with spontaneous speaking from one of dread to one of excitement. Remember, every interaction is a chance to learn, grow, and connect with others in a meaningful way. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation that calls for spontaneous speaking, take a deep breath, embrace the opportunity, and see where the moment takes you. Section 1. The importance of getting out of our own way. One of the biggest obstacles to spontaneous speaking is ironically ourselves. Our desire to appear intelligent, witty, or eloquent can lead to overthinking, self-criticism, and ultimately a stifled performance. We become so preoccupied with getting it right that we lose sight of the true essence of communication connection. Think about a time when you were trying to impress someone. Perhaps it was a job interview, a first date, or a networking event. Did you find yourself overanalyzing your words, second-guessing your every move, and generally feeling ill at ease? This self-consciousness stems from our innate fear of judgment, a fear that can be particularly crippling in spontaneous speaking situations. To become more effective, spontaneous speakers, we need to learn how to get out of our own way. This means silencing that inner critic, quieting the incessant chatter of self-doubt, and allowing ourselves to speak freely and authentically, even if it means making a mistake or two along the way. Section 2. Shout the wrong name, a game of cognitive flexibility. One way to practice getting out of our own way is through a simple yet surprisingly challenging game called Shout the Wrong Name. This exercise is designed to disrupt our habitual thought patterns and cultivate cognitive flexibility, essential skills for spontaneous speaking. Here's how it works. Take a look around the room and choose an object. Now, say out loud the first word that comes to mind, but make sure it's not the actual name of the object. For example, if you see a lamp, you might say tree, microphone, or watermelon. The key is to respond quickly and instinctively without overthinking or censoring yourself. This exercise might seem silly, but it serves an important purpose. By forcing ourselves to come up with incorrect names, we break free from our brain's natural tendency to categorize and label, a tendency that can hinder spontaneity. We learn to embrace the unexpected, loosen our grip on perfection, and allow our minds to make new and surprising connections. Section 3. Challenging our autopilot. Our brains are wired to seek patterns and create shortcuts. This ability to automate tasks is incredibly useful in many aspects of life, but it can be a hindrance when it comes to spontaneous speaking. When we rely too heavily on our mental autopilot, our responses become predictable, rehearsed, and lacking in authenticity. The shout the wrong name game challenges this autopilot mode. It forces us to engage in what psychologists call divergent thinking, a thought process that involves generating multiple creative solutions to a problem. This type of thinking is essential for navigating the unpredictable nature of spontaneous speaking, where we're constantly required to adapt, improvise, and think on our feet. By repeatedly engaging in exercises that disrupt our habitual thought patterns, we create new neural pathways, strengthening our ability to think flexibly, respond creatively, and access a wider range of ideas and perspectives. This cognitive agility is a hallmark of effective, spontaneous speakers. Section 4. From reaction to response. In spontaneous speaking situations, we often react rather than respond. A reaction is instinctive, immediate, and often driven by fear or anxiety. A response, on the other hand, is thoughtful, measured, and grounded in a sense of presence and intention. When we react, we're essentially operating on autopilot, relying on pre-programmed scripts and habitual patterns of thought. This can lead to generic, unremarkable, and ultimately forgettable interactions. When we respond, however, we bring our full attention to the present moment, listening deeply to what's being said, and responding in a way that feels authentic, considered, and connected. The shout the wrong name game, while seemingly simple, encourages us to slow down our thought process, interrupt our automatic responses, and choose a more conscious and deliberate way of interacting with the world around us. This shift from reaction to response is fundamental to mastering the art of spontaneous speaking. One of the most liberating concepts in spontaneous speaking, and one that often elicits a chuckle from my students, is the idea of daring to be dull. This might seem counterintuitive, especially in a world that often celebrates charisma, wit, and the art of the perfect soundbite. However, the pursuit of effortless brilliance can be a trap, leading to self-sabotage and a fear of taking risks. When we release the pressure to be constantly impressive, we give ourselves permission to relax, be present, and speak from the heart. Paradoxically, this willingness to embrace imperfection often leads to more genuine, relatable, and ultimately more engaging communication. Think of it this way: which conversations do you find more enjoyable and memorable? The ones filled with perfectly crafted anecdotes and witty repartee, or the ones where people feel comfortable being themselves, sharing their authentic thoughts and feelings, even if they're a bit messy or unpolished? The beauty of spontaneous speaking lies in its unpredictability. It's a dance of improvisation, a co-creation between speaker and listener, where the only script is the one we write together in the moment. By learning to get out of our own way, challenge our autopilot, and embrace imperfection, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities, where every interaction is an opportunity for connection, growth, and perhaps even a little bit of magic. Remember, the goal is not to become a flawless speaker, but rather a more present, authentic, and engaged communicator. So, dare to be dull, embrace the unexpected, and trust that your unique voice, however imperfect it may seem, is more than enough. We've explored the fear, the science, and the playful exercises that can help us become more confident and capable spontaneous speakers. But how do we bridge the gap between theory and practice? How do we take these tools and techniques and apply them to the real-world situations that make our hearts race and our palms sweat? The answer, like most things in life, lies in practice. But it's not just about logging hours on a stage or rehearsing in front of a mirror. It's about integrating these principles into our daily lives, seeking out opportunities to flex our spontaneous speaking muscles in low-stakes environments, and gradually building our confidence over time. Think of it like learning a new language. You wouldn't expect to become fluent overnight. It takes consistent effort, a willingness to make mistakes, and a commitment to immersing yourself in the language as much as possible. Similarly, mastering the art of spontaneous speaking requires a shift in mindset and a dedication to incorporating these practices into our everyday interactions. Let's start with a common workplace scenario. The dreaded conference room meeting. You're surrounded by colleagues. Your boss is peppering the team with questions, and you feel that familiar knot of anxiety forming in your stomach. This is the perfect opportunity to put our spontaneous speaking skills to the test. Instead of shrinking back in your chair, hoping to avoid eye contact, take a deep breath and remind yourself that this is not an interrogation, but a conversation. Embrace the opportunity to share your insights, even if they're not fully formed or perfectly articulated. Remember the dare to be dull principle? Don't put pressure on yourself to deliver groundbreaking pronouncements. Instead, focus on asking clarifying questions, building upon the ideas of others, and contributing to the conversation in a meaningful way. You might be surprised at the insights that emerge when you release the need to sound brilliant and simply focus on engaging authentically with the topic at hand. Networking events can be a breeding ground for social anxiety, even for the most extroverted among us. The thought of approaching strangers, initiating conversations, and trying to make a memorable impression can feel overwhelming. But remember, networking at its core is simply about connecting with other human beings. And we can apply our spontaneous speaking principles to make these interactions more enjoyable and productive. Instead of approaching networking with a transactional mindset, focus solely on collecting business cards or pitching your latest venture. Shift your perspective. View it as an opportunity to engage in interesting conversations, learn from others, and potentially forge new connections that could enrich your life or career. Remember the power of questions? Instead of launching into a rehearsed elevator pitch, break the ice with a genuine question that sparks curiosity and invites conversation. Ask about their work, their passions, or their thoughts on the event. Listen attentively to their responses and use those responses as springboards for further exploration. For those seeking a more structured approach to developing their spontaneous speaking skills, organizations like Toastmasters International offer a supportive and encouraging environment to practice public speaking in a variety of formats, including impromptu speaking exercises. Toastmasters clubs meet regularly, providing members with opportunities to deliver prepared speeches, participate in impromptu speaking sessions called table topics, and receive constructive feedback from fellow members. This combination of practice, feedback, and supportive camaraderie can be invaluable in building confidence and honing one's public speaking abilities. However, you don't need to join a formal organization to practice spontaneous speaking. Seek out opportunities in your everyday life to step outside your comfort zone. Volunteer to give a presentation at work, offer to make a toast at a friend's birthday party, or simply strike up a conversation with someone new at a coffee shop. Section 5. The Journey of 1,000 Words. Mastering spontaneous speaking is not a destination, but a journey. It's a process of continual learning, refinement, and self-discovery. There will be moments of brilliance and moments of utter awkwardness, times when the words flow effortlessly, and times when our minds go blank. The key is to embrace the entire experience, to view each interaction as an opportunity for growth, and to celebrate our progress along the way. Remember, even the most seasoned speakers started somewhere. They too experienced those butterflies in their stomach, those moments of self-doubt, and those inevitable stumbles along the way. So, the next time you find yourself facing a spontaneous speaking opportunity, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of the tools and techniques we've explored and embrace the challenge with courage, curiosity, and a touch of humor. You might be surprised at what you're capable of achieving when you step outside your comfort zone and allow your authentic voice to be heard. Section 1. The Echoes of Our Words. As we conclude our exploration of spontaneous speaking, let's take a moment to reflect on the profound impact our words can have on others. Every time we engage in conversation, share an anecdote, or offer an opinion, we create ripples of influence that extend far beyond the immediate moment. Our words have the power to inspire, to console, to educate, to entertain, and to forge connections that can last a lifetime. They can shape perceptions, influence decisions, and leave a lasting imprint on the hearts and minds of those around us. Think about a time when someone's words had a profound impact on you. Perhaps it was a teacher who ignited your passion for learning, a mentor who offered words of encouragement during a challenging time, or a friend who simply listened with empathy and understanding. Those words, spoken with authenticity and intention, likely stayed with you long after they were uttered, shaping your thoughts, beliefs, and actions in subtle yet significant ways. Section 2, the gift of connection. In an increasingly digital world, where communication often occurs through screens and keyboards, the art of spontaneous speaking reminds us of the irreplaceable value of human connection. It's in those unscripted moments, those face-to-face interactions, that we truly come alive, forging bonds of understanding, empathy, and shared experience. When we engage in spontaneous speaking, we step outside the carefully curated personas we often present online and reveal our true selves, flaws, and all. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, and to connect with others on a deeper, more authentic level. This willingness to embrace imperfection, to be fully present in the moment, is a gift we give not only to ourselves, but also to those around us. It creates a space for genuine connection, where laughter flows freely, ideas are exchanged openly, and relationships are strengthened through shared experience. Section 3, embracing the unpredictable. Life, like spontaneous speaking, is full of surprises. There will be moments when we feel confident and prepared, and there will be moments when we feel completely caught off guard. The key is to embrace the unpredictable nature of it all, to view each twist and turn as an opportunity for growth, learning, and self-discovery. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate fear or anxiety entirely, but rather to learn how to dance with those feelings, to acknowledge their presence without allowing them to dictate our actions. When we embrace the unknown with curiosity and courage, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities, where even the most unexpected moments can become opportunities for growth, connection, and transformation. So the next time you find yourself facing a spontaneous speaking situation, whether it's a surprise presentation at work, an impromptu toast at a wedding, or a chance encounter with someone new, take a deep breath. Embrace the challenge and trust that you have within you the ability to navigate the moment with grace, authenticity, and a touch of humor. Section 4, resources for the road ahead. For those seeking additional guidance on their spontaneous speaking journey, a wealth of resources is available to support your growth and development. Here are a few suggestions to get you started. Toastmasters International. As mentioned earlier, Toastmasters is a global organization that provides a supportive and structured environment for practicing public speaking in a variety of formats, including impromptu speaking. Improv classes. Improvisational theater classes can be incredibly beneficial in developing spontaneity, quick thinking, and the ability to think on your feet. Many cities offer improv workshops and classes for all experience levels. Books and podcasts. Numerous books and podcasts are dedicated to the art of public speaking, communication skills, and overcoming stage fright. Explore your local library or favorite podcast app for resources that resonate with you. Online communities. Connect with fellow speakers and enthusiasts through online forums, social media groups, and virtual communities dedicated to public speaking and communication skills. Remember, the journey of mastering spontaneous speaking is an ongoing process. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress and never stop seeking out opportunities to learn, grow, and share your unique voice with the world. Section 5. Finding your voice, sharing your story. In the tapestry of human experience, each of us has a story to tell. Our stories are woven from our experiences, our perspectives, our triumphs, and our challenges. They are what make us unique, relatable, and worthy of being heard. Spontaneous speaking provides us with a powerful platform to share those stories, to connect with others on a deeper level, and to leave our mark on the world, one authentic interaction at a time. So, go forth, embrace the unpredictable, and trust that your voice, however quiet or uncertain it may seem at times, deserves to be heard. The world is waiting to listen.